We'll move on to our next session, which is also another leadership keynote. And the topic for the keynote is very apt and contextual, which is accelerated digital to drive 360-degree value. And we are very honored to have with us Dr. Bhaskar Ghosh, Chief Strategy Officer, Accenture. We warmly welcome you, sir. A little bit about Dr. Ghosh. Dr. Bhaskar Ghosh has responsibility for all aspects of the company's strategy and investments, including ventures and acquisitions and Accenture research. He also oversees the development of all assets and offerings across Accenture services. In addition, Dr. Ghosh has management responsibility for Industry X, which includes digital manufacturing and intelligent products and platforms, and driving responsible business and sustainability services. He is a member of Accenture's Global Management Committee. Before being named to this current position in 2020, Dr. Ghosh was the advisor to the CEO on growth and investment strategy, business performance, organizational effectiveness, and restructuring. Prior to that, he was the Group Chief Executive of Accenture Technology Services. Accenture Technology Services made outsourcing progress to rapidly rotate to the new and enable clients to lead in the new under Dr. Ghosh's leadership. More than 200,000 Accenture technology people were trained around the world in new IT, including automation, agile development, and intelligent platforms. And Accenture strengthened new IT offerings around data security, cloud, data management, and liquid application management. Dr. Ghosh also serves as an independent director on the board of directors of Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited, and is the chairman of its strategy committee and a member of its risk audit and governance committee. I now invite Dr. Bhaskar Ghosh, Chief Strategy Officer, Accenture, to deliver his keynote on accelerated digital to drive 360-degree value. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rakib. Good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, Mr. Dhruv Mukherjee, CEO, ABP Group. Good afternoon to all the delegates and participants of this conference. It is real my pleasure and privilege to be here in this conference, the INFOCOM 2021. So let us present my small deck to start. So last year, we talked about new normal. That was the topic in INFOCOM. And last 12 months or 18 months, we have learned to live in this new normal. Around us, we see transformation everywhere in our daily life, in enterprise, in the consumer side, in the market. So there is a transformation everywhere. There is a change in the technology, there is change in the industry and the enterprise. But with all this transformation, once we have learned to accept that new reality, in this year's INFOCOM topic is about the accelerating digital. I thought in next 20 minutes, I'm going to address the two things. Number one, do we really believe that digital acceleration will continue post-COVID? If yes, why do we believe so? Why do we think it will accelerate? I think these are the two things I'll try to address. Let's move to the next slide, please. So we all know about the digital acceleration which took place during the COVID. We know the necessity is the mother of invention because we are forced to stay at home. Every company, every organization tried to adopt digital. And what we believe that many years, people say 5 years, 7 years of the digital acceleration took place in last 18 months or 2 years. But from my perspective, there are 3 key takeaways of the last 18 months of digital acceleration. Number one is the technology is the new backbone for every industry. Technology is the business. It is not the enabler of the business anymore. What we believe is the digital services is the new normal. Whether you are in health care or in travel or in manufacturing, every industry, whether retail, a consumer, the people are accepting that to survive in this world, to thrive in this world, one need to accept that digital as the new normal. Second thing, what we have learned in last 18 months is remote services, or the hybrid work model is here to stay, at least for all professional services. It is not only for the IT services. IT services, the remote work we are doing for a maybe long time, but it is maybe the different consulting services, the architects work, and the various different areas. This remote work or hybrid work will continue. We have seen some of these other industry, like in healthcare, the technology was available for the remote consulting for a long time, but the acceptability was low. But with this COVID, it has been accelerated. What we have seen that, some of these, because of this remote working, definitely the providers business has significantly gone up. We've seen that the Zoom, their user base has gone up from 10 million to 300 million. Microsoft Teams connectivity active user have gone up by 5 times in last 18 months. So the question is the remote working becoming norms, and we have accepted that, and I feel that the hybrid work culture will continue. The third learning for me is that COVID has democratized the job opportunity across the various different states. I was talking about this in yesterday during inauguration session, that recently in 2 weeks back, I have learned that my relationship manager in bank lives in Kolkata in Salt Lake and supporting me, and I live in Bangalore for last 2 years, and I never realized that she is in Salt Lake and I am in Bangalore. So it is becoming very normal, very standard. But the question is that when more and more such work will continue, professional services remotely, as an organization, as an industry need to accept that, regulators and government need to accept that and embrace this change to open up more and more pan-India job opportunity for our people. So I think that is going to happen. And I can see that in last 1 year, already it has been accelerated a lot. So all this, whatever I have said, that, this digital acceleration is very, very visible to all of you. You all know about it. And, when we talk about the digital acceleration, it is not about that buying bread by online or, taking that any services, you go to app and take that. But other change what is happening today is that the buyers are now changing, and they're even ready to buy the high-end stuffs also from the net, also from remotely. So that's the change in behavior. So this is the change we all have seen. So let's move to the next slide and try to answer the question that will the digital acceleration slow down after COVID? I believe the answer is no, absolute no. Rather, it will accelerate, and accelerate. Why do I think so? I think it will accelerate because of 3 reasons. The first, because of the environmental change. Let me explain. As a part of the environment, the buyer's behavior has changed, both for consumer buyer and for enterprise buyer. Like consumer buyer, I was talking about, the buyers are ready to buy the high-end stuff. The data statistic shows that high-end car are selling remotely. The digital sale for them has gone up. People are buying houses. That sales inquiry is more and more sales inquiries coming digitally. So the people are looking as the digital media also for the high-end stuff, not only for the commodity stuff or the regular day-to-day requirement that anyway it is there every day. The second thing of the enterprise buyer, like even in Accenture, what I see that, in the past, if it's a large $100 million deal, the standard rule was that the people are across the globe will fly and go to client's office and, talk to them in the boardroom for half a day to close the deal. Now it is very different. It is just people across the globe joining a call remotely, and then we are closing the deal. But can we do that as a seller, as a vendor? Of course, we can support clients remotely. But what is changed is that the buyer behavior is the change. Buyers have got now more confident to take a large buying decision even remotely. I think that is the fundamental change. Second change, I will say that in environment is the regulatory change. That a lot of things in the past, we could not do because of the different regulatory constraint. Like I'll give you in India, in financial industry, a lot of places you have to sign the document physically, otherwise you cannot transact. But in last 2 years, a lot of places the rule has changed. The digital signature is now allowed. It has been changed where Aadhaar-based verification is now allowed. So regulators are also changing and making this thing enable. Like one more example is that, for the car insurance, if the insurance get expired, then the rule is that, it has to be the physical verification is required. That was the internal rule. The physical verification required. That was a regulatory system. But now it is possible to do remotely in a digital way. So that is now allowed. So regulatory change is important, and that is happening, enabling this journey. Third thing is the business model change. That this, when these companies are adopting digital, they're changing their business model. I can talk about one of the, non-banking finance company. They are in India, one of the largest company. Their their digital sales pre-COVID was less than maybe 10%. And now it is more than 80%. That sales inquiry comes to the digital channel is 80%. Now, because of that change, a lot of internal process has changed. The incentive process has changed. The training has changed. The workforce planning has changed. So the organizations are making a lot of changes in their business model to accept this new normal. And I do not think that will go back to the old, and that will accelerate exactly the same way. The final point I will say that ecosystem, there's a huge number of startup ecosystems are coming up. According to NASSCOM data, the first 9 months of 2021, there are 746 startups in India opened up. And out of that, in the first 9 months again, there are 28 unicorn. This is just amazing. This whole startup ecosystem is another boost to whole digital acceleration. So as I said, that this gives a lot of confidence on the environment side in terms of buyers' behavior, regulatory changes, business model, and the ecosystem. Everything together is driving the digital acceleration. So next, move to the next slide. The second reason I believe that the digital acceleration will continue, because some of the technologies are getting very mature. I will call out the 3 things: cloud, data, and AI. This is not a new technology. Cloud technology is there for quite some time now. Same is data and AI. But it has now reached the level of maturity so that create a huge impact in the business. Like in Accenture, what we say, like cloud builds the foundation and data drive, and data is the driver, and AI is the differentiator. These 3 technologies combined, if you combine these technologies, and that is a second reason for the big acceleration of the digital journey. Let me go in a little more details. Recently we have done a survey research across 4,000 companies, including the companies in India, that shows the cloud adoption today is around 37%. And this has gone up, around 18 months to 2 years back, it was around 20 to 24%. So it has gone up significantly, but still 37% is low, and there's a lot of runway left. So there's more adoption will happen. Second part is the data. Now, data is a huge opportunity for me. In the future, data-based applications will be a huge opportunity to improve the performance of the industry. The way I look at it, the data is a help you to make a better decisions. Data is a help you to make a better decisions, and when it combined with the AI, it is really help the industry. Again, I'll give you one example how data helps the take a better decision. So in Accenture, we are working with one of our clients in Japan. That's a medical university, and what we are helping them to improve the success in the kidney transplant. So what they have done, they have shared all of their past data related to the patients with a kidney transplant. So we know that the details of the donor and the receivers, and we know that what type of medicine was applied and what is the post-operative complications and their future, post-operation life for those people, and all the details. So we have all the data loaded. And based on that, the AI-based model has been created so that it can now predict for the new patients that what type of kidney matching will be most optimal and what type of post-operative care should be taken so that that will be the best for the patient. Now, the way it operates, the data was already there in this university, in the hospital. It is not a new data. It was there in a different form, different shape. It was there. But what made a difference now, in front of the doctor when they are treating the patient now, in their fingertip, that the knowledge of multiple years, multiple patients' data is available in their fingertip to take a decision. But it is important to understand that whole application is powered by data, and AI is not replacing doctor, but empowering doctor with that past data and AI-based prediction to take a better decision to have a better patient support. This example is important so that you all can think there are multiple such applications, and you can think in your scope of work, in your industry, in your business, how you can use the AI along with the past data to empower your employees, your team with this power of technology. So that is one application. Another application I will tell that will give a little bit different flavor, which is purely based on a business model built on AI. There is a bank in China. It's called My Bank. It's part of Ant Group. It's a online company. They provide loans to SMB, small and medium companies, without any collateral. So key important thing is that it gives a loan without any collateral. The way it works, that they have built a model where the moment the people apply, they check the credentials against 3,000 different parameters. And based on that, they take a decision, loan approved or loan rejects. What is interesting is that in their application, to apply for a loan through a phone, it takes around 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes. And to approve and reject the loan, it takes less than 1 second. And data suggests that these companies, NPA, non-performing assets or bad loan, is 1/3 of its peer group. So this is again a very powerful example where the business model is built on data AI. So the first example what I gave, that you can think of using the data and AI to empower your organization, empower your people, empower your business. Whereas the second example is creating a business model out of this technology. So that is also happening. And there are many such examples on that. So bottom line is that the cloud data and AI, these technologies are now mature, and we need to, the adoption is happening, but still long way to go. And there is a lot more opportunity in the coming days. But whenever we talk about the digital, the foundation of digital is internet. And, you all know the internet, in the early days of internet, it was the internet, we call internet 1.0 in 1980s. It was primarily the static internet. It used to just display, share information, static page used by companies and other things. Then the internet 2.0 came, which is more of an interactive internet, or the social internet, all these social media, podcast, Wikipedia, all those kinds of applications developed what we have today. But what is coming up tomorrow is the 3.0, the internet 3.0, which will open up the new opportunity. So as cloud data and AI is the existing technology is getting matured, let's move to the next slide, please. So there is a whole lot of new technology in front of us, which will create the new opportunity. It is, it is driven by few of the key drivers. One is Internet 3.0. Second is the 5G. Third is edge computing. So 5G, you all know about the 5G. We expect in India in a couple of years, I'm sure we will get 5G, which will significantly improve the bandwidth, significantly improve the speed. Third is second is the edge computing. Will open a new paradigm of, the distributed computing. And 3D internet will bring the opportunities. We call it also distributed internet, or it is more of a, create the 3D internet will bring that more new applications, including the metaverse. You all have started hearing about that new word, omniverse, metaverse, the company like Microsoft, Facebook, NVIDIA talking about it. But what is important is that there is a whole lot of new technologies are coming up in our horizon in the next 3 to 5 years, and which will open up a lot more new opportunities, new business opportunity, new business model for all of us. So we have the existing technologies which we are supporting our growth, and also we have the new technologies which are coming. So that's these three things. The environment is positive. Second is that existing technologies are getting matured, and there are new technologies which are coming up in our pipeline, which will drive growth. So these three things really gives me confidence that digital acceleration will continue. Go to the next slide, please. But what is important is to remember that technology will come and technology will go, will mature, and then it will retire. But when we talk about the driving value, we should think of driving multi-dimensional value by using the technology. Normally we always talk about the business value, adopt the technology to drive profitability, drive growth, so on and so forth. Of course, that is important. But what is important that adopt the technology to create a difference in the society. And the technologies like, when you use the artificial intelligence and all, if you are not careful, it can have a negative impact on the society. It can negative impact on the decision making, because most of these applications are not the conventional programming, and based on the yes no logic or deterministic programming, but these are more probabilistic programming based on a data. So if with the data, the decision may change, and that creates that's why one has to be careful. Second, on the people side, once you adopt new technology, there will be some displacement of work may come, but at the same time, it will create a lot of new jobs. So we need to make sure as we adopt technology, we also train people so that they are ready for the new job. But again, other point I will say, the sustainability is important. And every time, even if you write a code, let us make sure that is not hungry for battery in our phone. So otherwise it will dry. So even writing a simple code, starting from a simple code to a big cloud application, we are talking about green IT. So we need to make sure we adopt that. We are careful about that, as there are more and more IT technology adoption is going to happen. So with that, I will leave with a message. Let's go to the next slide. I'll leave with a message that digital acceleration will continue. So accelerate digital to drive 360-degree value or holistic value in the coming days. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ghosh, for that keynote. It's always an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us at INFOCOM, and especially the 20th year. Thank you so much for joining.